Morning, Miss.
Good morning. So you can get your worksheet if you want to. We will continue solving it. So I think you all have the worksheets with you. So get worksheet number 1. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You can stay unmuted because we're not too many. Shogri, Maya, and Tala, you need to connect the audio so you can hear me and I can hear you. Ali Shogri, Maya, and Tala, please connect. So again, please stay unmuted. Shogri and Maya, connect the audio, please. You cannot hear me. I cannot hear you this way. Shogri and Maya, please connect the audio. For the others, please unmute yourselves. So we're going to continue solving worksheet number 1. You all have it. We did the first 3 questions. Let's continue. In question number 4, we're talking about
Should we have it with us?
as you will. It's up to you. Anyway, the solution is uploaded on Padlet and also with the video solution. Okay? So, Maya and Shugri, they are not listening. They are not looking at the screen. Okay, so on question number 4, we're talking about the nervous system. It is the nervous made of 2 parts, 2 major parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Okay, the peripheral nervous system is made of all the nerves, and there are 2 types of neurons. So thank you, Maya. We are still waiting for Shohari. The peripheral nervous system contains 2 types of neurons. There are the neurons that take the messages from the brain and the spinal cord to the organs, and the neurons that bring the messages from the organs to the brain and to the spinal cord. Are you getting this? Why do we have 2 types of neurons? Because there are 2 ways. There are two types of messages. There are the messages going from the central nervous system. I'll add right here that the central nervous system, what are the 2 organs of the central nervous system? Central nervous system, brain, and spinal cord. So there are the neurons that take the messages from the central nervous system to the peripheral nervous system. And there is another way, there are neurons that bring the messages from the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system. For this reason, we need 2 types of neurons. What do we call them? What are these 2 types of neurons? What do we call the neurons that take the messages from the peripheral nervous system, from the organs to the central nervous system. They help us to sense the environment. So what do we call them?
Miss.
Okay. Motor neurons, they take the messages from the central nervous system to the peripheral nervous system, while what do we call the other kind of neurons? Sensory neurons.
Sensory neurons.
That's right. Sensory neurons are found in your sensory organs. So thank you, Shugri. We're done now. I can erase this. Sensory neurons take the messages from your organs. For example, from your eyes to your brain. Now you are listening to me. So your sensory neurons are working. They are taking the messages from your ears to your brains. While the motor neurons, they give or they lead the messages from the brain to your muscles, for example. I'm asking you now to raise your hand. Raise your hand. Now we are asking the motor neurons to work since the brain is sending a message to the muscles in the hand to raise it. Is this clear? Okay.
Yes.
The nervous system controls two types of actions. We have voluntary actions and reflex actions. First of all, which actions are involuntary? Voluntary or reflex?
Reflex.
Reflex for sure. Reflex actions are involuntary. It's the result of coordination of the spinal cord and the peripheral nervous system. I just said in the peripheral nervous system is made of neurons only. So in this type of actions, and reflex actions, they are involuntary. You don't think about them. So which organ does not work? Which organ isn't involved in these kinds of actions since you don't think of them?
The brain.
The brain, bravo. Bravo. Is this Julia?
No, it's Samia.
Bravo, yes, Samia. Since these are involuntary actions, we don't think about them, so the brain is not involved. What do we call the actions that are produced with the involvement of thoughts? You think about them. Sure. What do we call the actions that we think about them? We control them.
Voluntary.
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 We call them voluntary actions. In these actions, both what and what are involved. What controls these kinds of
The nervous system and the brain.
Nervous system and brain.
Yes, the brain and also the
The
spinal.
nervous.
The spinal cord. Both the spinal cord and the brain are involved. Okay, so again, there are two types of actions. Actually, hearing, not listening, hearing, we hear everything around us without meaning it. We don't think about it. We just hear all the sounds that are around us. This is an involuntary action. We don't think of it. So the brain is not involved in this case. Blinking also, you blink without thinking of it. So in this case, the brain is not involved. It's a reflex action controlled by the spinal cord and the nerves only. While in voluntary actions, مثلا listening, eating, talking, both the brain and the spinal cord are involved. Question number 5. هون coordination of the urinary system, excretory system يعني ومع nervous system. Okay, for the others يا زين الدين, مريم, مروة, ميا, شغري, هادي. Miss, please unmute yourselves. Shohri, Hadi. Okay. Before toilet child's training, you know that child, or you know that children cannot control their urination. For this reason, they wear diapers, right? Since urinating or urination happens without them thinking of it, they cannot control it. A simple reflex control the urination. Sensory nerves in the bladder, okay, focus. The sensory nerves in the bladder take the signal or take the message to the brain or to the spinal cord, sorry, telling the spinal cord that the bladder is full. Okay, as a result, the spinal cord sends a message through the motor nerves to the muscles in the bladder, asking it to contract and to urinate. Okay, as simple as that. Again, the children cannot control their urination. They pee without thinking of it. For this reason, they wear diapers. They need to train. They need to develop their nervous system to control this process. What happens when their bladder is full? The sensory neurons in the bladder send a message to the spinal cord telling it that the bladder is full. As a response, as a result, the spinal cord sends a message back to the muscles in the bladder telling it to contract and to urinate. طيب, determine if the urination is voluntary or reflex. What do you think? Voluntary or reflex?
For training, it's a reflex.
Reflex action, but for like adults, it's not.
For children, we're talking about children. Determine if the child's urination is a voluntary or a reflex.
It's a reflex action.
Why?
It's a reflex.
Do not forget, guys. Determine
Because they
and
don't
you
know
have
what
to
and they don't think about it.
determine, you have to tell why. So, yes, it is a reflex action. Why is that?
It's a reflex action because they don't think about it and they can't control it.
And they
That's
can't control
right.
it, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. It's a reflex action. Since Aslan in the text, they said it is controlled by a simple reflex. And tell me, did I mention the brain? Is the brain involved in this kind of action, in this process?
No.
No. And the
No.
brain isn't involved in it. Okay?
Miss,
So-
I have a question.
Okay, look, a simple reflex controls the timing of urination, and they only talked about the spinal cord, the spine. They didn't mention the brain. Yes, I'm listening. What's your question?
So can you please repeat how the bladder tells the spinal cord and continuing on?
Yes, yes, I will. But look, I will. In here, all the steps are written. Okay, I repeat it when we reach right here. Part B.
Okay.
What are the parts of the nervous system involved in the urination process of child? The nervous system has 3 parts: brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Which parts of these 3 parts are involved in the children urination?
The spinal cord is.
The spinal cord for sure. And what takes the messages from the
spinal
bladder to the spinal cord and then back from the spinal cord to the muscles?
Sensory
The
nerve?
brain?
And the nerves. No. Again, I'll repeat, the brain is not involved. Did you see this? The brain is not involved. Did you see it?
yeah.
Okay. We need
Yeah.
the nerves,
Yeah.
we need both nerves, the sensory nerves to take the messages to the spinal cord, and also the motor nerves to bring the messages back from the spinal cord. The brain is not involved in such actions. Okay, so now, arrange in order the steps of the transmission of the message controlling the child's urination. First of all, the stimulus or the element that starts the whole process is when the bladder is full. So the urine flows inside the ureters and accumulates in the bladder. The bladder is full. So we need, the bladder must be full.
Yes.
Bladder is full. So this is number one. Then the sensory nerves in the bladder take a message to the spinal cord telling it that the bladder is filled up with urine. As a response, the central nervous system or the spinal cord tells the bladder muscles to contract. Finally, the urination happens. Yalla, let's put them in order. Which one is the first one?
The urine flows inside the
sensory-
uterus and accumulates the body, the bladder.
Yeah,
The
so this is
bladder.
number one. The bladder must be full. Second, the bladder is full now. Second, what happens?
The motor nerves from this.
Second, what happens? The
the
message
sensory nerves in the bladder.
Sensory nerves in the bladder signal the
Bladder.
spinal cord that the bladder is filled up.
That's right. The sensory nerves take the messages, bravo Angelina, to the spinal cord. Third,
Third one is
The third one is the motor nerves
motor nerves from
from
the
the CNS
bravo,
signals.
bravo Lamar.
And the
And
fourth
the
one
last
is the
one is
bladder
the
must
urethra
go
relaxes
to
and allow urination.
Urination happens. Is this
the
clear?
last one.
Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last question now. Match the organs. Okay. The excretory system is a collection of organs with the main function of excretion or the process of disposing waste from the body. What's excretion? You can take the definition from the text. What do we mean by excretion?
It's the process
Okay, it's a process of what?
of disposing.
It's the process of disposing waste from the body.
Waste from the
It's
body.
the process of eliminating, of throwing waste out of the body. So this is, it is a process of disposing waste from the body. Match the organs of the excretory system to the jobs they do. Which organs
The liver.
convert waste proteins into urea? Waste protein, I'll remind you that it is the ammonia. When you eat food rich in protein, after digestion, ammonia is formed. And ammonia is a toxic substance that the body needs to to get rid of. Okay, when you eat protein, you'll have ammonia in your body, so the body must eliminate ammonia. Which organ takes the ammonia from the blood and turns it into urea?
The liver?
The liver, perfect. Bravo. Who is this?
Samia.
Bravo, ya Samia. It's the liver. Excellent. The liver's job is to filter the ammonia from the blood. It takes the ammonia from the blood and it changes it into urea. What stores urine? You have a pocket in your bodies, in all of our bodies, to store urine. What is it called?
The urethra.
No, the urethra is the tube that lets urine out.
Urethra.
Better?
The bladder. The bladder is
bladder.
the pocket.
Bladder.
The bladder is the pocket to store urine. Aslan, if you look right here, accumulate in the bladder. يعني all of the urine is stored in the bladder. عم نحكي عن the bladder. What controls the amount of water and salts in the body? It collects water, it collects salts, and remove them.
The urine.
The
We're
urethra?
talking about an organ. Yes, we get rid of them in the urine. So the water, the extra salt, they go with the urine. But where does this happen? Which organ does this?
The
Takes
kidney.
the kidneys. Bravo. الكدنيز بياخدوا اليوريا. Okay, so look guys. الكدنيز بياخدوا اليوريا. They also take the water. They also take the salts. They combine them together to form urine. What excretes waste salt and some urea in sweat? Easy, easy, easy. Sweat. Which organ?
The skin.
The skin. Bravo. نحن we skin
Yeah,
as we sweat through the skin. Okay, skin. Come the last one is the easiest one. Which organs get rid
The
of
lungs.
carbon dioxide into the atmosphere?
The nose.
Lungs.
Lungs. Lungs.
the lung.
The lungs.
Lung.
Okay. Always remember, in our excretory system contains 4 important organs: the skin, the lungs, the what? Why did I forget them? Skin, lungs, the kidneys, and what's the 4th organ? I forget it.
The bladder.
No.
Better.
The liver.
Kidneys, skin. How do we get rid of the undigested food? What's the 4th one?
The undigested food. By pooping, no?
That's right, صح.
Large intestine.
Large intestine. Large intestine or large intestine.
Yeah.
Okay, the excretory system helps us to eliminate the waste out of our bodies. It is made of 4 organs, 4 important organs: kidneys, skin, lungs, and large intestine. But for sure, I have to know the parts of the urinary system. وكمان I have to know that the liver is a part. It helps also in urinating. Okay, since we still have تقريبا 10 minutes, I'll go for a quick revision about the first questions. Sexual reproduction of insects. Guys, if you printed for tomorrow, on Friday, we will have science on the first period, on the first session. So please get the second worksheet. Worksheet number 2, we're going to solve it. Okay?
Number 2.
So we print it?
For now, we will continue worksheet number 1. I will upload
Worksheet number
also.
2 is the levels of
I didn't
organization
hear
in
you. What did
human,
you
no?
say?
The second worksheet is level of organization in human body.
No, we are still talking, I think, about body systems, elements and compounds, acid and base, and also what force of gravity. Lots of things. Young. Sexual reproduction of insects. You know that fertilization, أول شيء sexual reproduction يعني both the male and the female are مش عم بكتب هيك أنا are what? Both male and female are involved. Okay? We take the sperm from the male, the ovum from the girl, and then fertilization. Where does fertilization happen? Where does fertilization happen? Inside or outside?
In the stomach.
Not in the stomach. It happens inside, internal fertilization. It happens inside the female's body. So let's say, give me examples of insects, guys. أعطونا examples of insects. يا هادي, يا زين الدين, ميا, زين.
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
شغري, are you here? I just have the girls right here. Okay, give me examples of insects. No one? What are examples of insects, guys?
Butterfly.
Beetles.
Butterfly. Yes. What else? Other than the
Bees.
butterfly,
A
what
bee.
are
I mean,
examples
bees.
of insects?
Grasshoppers.
Can I say?
Yes, you can.
A fly. A
Bees,
fly.
Beetles.
cockroach, grasshopper, butterfly,
Praymantis.
Ladybug,
Baby.
dragonfly, etc. So fertilization in these insects happens inside the female's body. Okay, the sperm fertilizes the ovum inside this female body, and we will have an egg. Then the butterfly lays its eggs on the plant's leaves. So what is the first sentence? When the first sentence?
A butterfly lays its eggs
Mr. Larva.
under milkweed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the butterfly.
Then what hatches from the egg?
The butterfly larva feeds on the milkweed seed.
That's right. This is second. The larva hatches from the egg and it feeds on the leaves. Okay. Larvae grow quickly. They eat a lot.
Yeah.
They feed on leaves and they grow quickly. Then what do we call the fully grown larva?
The larva turns into a caterpillar.
It's a caterpillar. So this is number 3. Okay. Then what does the caterpillar do?
The caterpillar. The
As the
caterpillar.
caterpillar sheds its outer skin and transforms into a
Bravo.
Into a pupa.
That's right. And finally, we will
the
have
wing-
an
The
adult.
last one is the wings of
The wings of the butterfly dry.
We
when
will
it's
have
separated.
an
It's
adult.
ready to fly.
Is
So
ready.
first of all, egg. Then we have the larva,
Larva,
pupa, and finally we
Pupa,
have the
adult.
adult insect.
butterfly.
Here we're talking about metamorphosis of insects. Yes, there is a difference between metamorphosis and molting. I want you to focus on this, okay? هلا I'm telling you something. In the exam, في عندي you will see the words metamorphosis and also you will see the word molting. Okay? Metamorphosis, هن all the steps together. All the changes that an insect goes through. اتفقنا؟ While molting, since the insects
Yeah.
grow and they are covered with an exoskeleton, they have an outer coverage, a hard outer coverage to protect them. So they need to mold, they need to change it while growing.
Shed.
As I said before, when you grow, you will need new clothes, right? Because your clothes don't grow with you. Same idea for the insect. Their exoskeleton doesn't grow with while the insect is growing, so they need to molt. They change their exoskeleton. كلنا فهمنا. You will have this
So
in the
molting
exam.
is
I'm telling you
shedding.
this.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis هن the group of changes that the animal goes through. هن بيروح على البيوبا، بعدين بيروح على بيكون larva، بصير pupa، من البيوبا للadult. So all of these changes in the body, and we call them metamorphosis. Molting in the shedding, the exoskeleton. Body systems. Yeah, let's do this quickly. Quickly. Tell me the answers.
Oh, number one is a cell.
Cell.
Number 2 is a tissue.
Alright.
Number 3.
And the number
Number
4
4 is an organ system.
And number
And the last one is organism.
Okay. بيكون في عندي cells. Cells in the building blocks of the body. Same cells. Listen to me. Same cells join together to form a tissue. Tissue بيكون في عنده one function. بعدين different tissue مثل nervous tissue مع muscular tissue مع connective tissue, they sit together to form an organ. الorgan كمان بيكون في عنده one function. بعدين different organs مثل mouth مع esophagus مع stomach مع intestines, they join together ليعملوا لي an organ system that has one function. And then all of the organ systems work together to help an organism live. Okay, this and we finish, guys. Yalla, we're done.
Okay.
Look, Heide, it's a section of the skin, and as I said, when you see the word epithelial يعني skin, epithelial tissue يعني skin tissue. So this is B.
B.
Epithelial tissue line surfaces in the body. بعدين, we have this white tissue.
The next one's A.
This is the next one is A. It's the muscular tissue. It helps us move. So this is A. بعدين, what do we call the tissue with the cells looking like stars?
The second one is A. The
This
third one is
C.
is
C. Nervous
C, yes.
tissue. Nervous tissue.
The fourth one is
Fourth
D.
one is D.
bone.
Okay. Akid, I have to know. And I didn't say this in the worksheet كمان, but you will find it while revising. هيدول الدندrites. هون عند السوما. This is the nucleus. بعدين this is the axon. At the end حيكون في عندي الأكسون terminal. فكلهم بدي أدرسهم. Then look at these cells. هيدول الcells يلي هن like circles. شو هيدا؟
D.
D. هيدا
Bone
البون.
cartilage.
Bone cartilage. At the end في عندي E يلي هو blood. The blood is a connective
E.
tissue. It has different types of cells. شايفين ال red blood cells, the white blood cells, and we have the platelets. Okay, all swimming يعني كأنه in a liquid. Okay, it's good to review these worksheets, but it's not enough. You have to revise the lessons. Do you still have any questions about worksheet number 1?
Miss-
I will
Miss, can you
upload.
please send the Padlet on the
Okay, I
group?
can send you the link of the Padlet for sure.
Yes,
Guys, if
please.
you still have any questions, anyway, and I will upload this video on YouTube and on the Padlet also, so you can check it. Kaman, I made another video while solving the worksheet. I added some notes to the worksheet. You can also find the solution of the worksheet as a PDF, as a paper on the Padlet. So if you want to quick check on the solutions. Okay, for any questions, I'm ready to repeat.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, I'll see you, Anna. I'll see you in week 41. And we will be solving questions.
Yeah.
We will be solving worksheet number 2. But if you still have any questions about worksheet number 1, for sure we can do them. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all those who participated.
Thank you,
Thank
Miss.
you,
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye, dear ones. Bye bye.
Bye, Miss. Thank you.